She was trying to like tell me about India.Arie, but she couldn't remember her name. So she was like, what's that girl name? Ariana. I'm like, Mom, what you talking about? You know, Ariana Grande coming for Joe Rogan.
You know, about a month and a half out from the new year, people saw 50 Cent come down like Dracula from that shit.
Like, yo, what up? I guess on some man-to-man, let's go shoot the fair one. Where they do that at? The term black scent was like the most disrespectful part about, I think, the whole thing.
Black
like, I'm
like something about that. It didn't sit well with me, and I would really love to know who made that shit up.
Who made up black scent? Release date tweets.
DJPLICCAPLAYBOY.
What's good, y'all? It's your man DJ Playboy, and I'm back with another episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast. And I do no episode, not one, without my dog, my partner, my guy, my man.
Girl scream like I'm Keith.
What it do, brethren?
Ain't shit. Just another Sunday, bro. Just came back from the baby gym.
Oh, what's that? What's a baby gym? Like a little gymboree?
It's basically pretty much, yeah, gymboree, my gym, one of them joints. So the one around my way is my gym. Okay. It's basically a playground for almost $200 a month. So that's pretty much what it is. But it gets the young and tired out, and they teach them different like skills or whatever. So that's cool. I ain't tripping. I mean, because in theory, right, like my adult gym, I could, you know, go work out in the park or some shit on a light post and shit. Do pull-ups on a light post on some dude who just got out type shit. But you know, you pay for shit and get nice shit. So
looking like the Juicy video or Rough Riders Anthem or some shit.
Hell yeah, man, looking like the Ha video.
That's crazy though that the child industry, right, the baby industry, because the adult gym ain't $200 a month. Well, not the one I go to.
Word.
I don't know. You might go to a fancy one, but I don't. $200 a month. The adult gym would be an OD like that. The child, they know what they doing, man. It's crazy. How'd you feel about?
Hell yeah, man.
About going though, attending it with your child, because like I struggled with that when my kid was like really little. She'd want to go to the bouncy house, and I'd be like, or the park, and I would do it. You know what I'm saying? But it would be like a chore for me. It would definitely feel like a chore.
Yeah. Well, I think the answer I would give in front of other parents is like, it's the greatest joy of my life. But I realize that there's a lot of shit that doesn't come natural to you, right? But you got to do that shit for the kid, and I think that's the motivation. So I'm motivated to do it, but I don't enjoy doing it if that makes sense. I guess it's similar to working out. I'm like, well, I don't want to die early, so I'm gonna work out, but I don't enjoy lifting 100-pound ton of metal like above my head. Like this is not the shit I said it was my dream when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So I would say that I enjoy seeing him laugh and have fun and do different shit, because like he's learning at the same time, because they got like obstacle courses and stuff that we just don't have in the crib. And you know, I guess I could put a bunch of couch cushions and make him climb over it or whatever, but you know, it ain't the same. Plus there's other kids there. But as far as going there, yeah, I know what you're saying. Like you gotta become that character.
That dad,
you know
right? Happy to be there. Happy to be pushing the swing.
Be there, and you gotta meet people.
Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst part.
Exactly. So you said the chore part. That's the part. Like you gotta play with other kids, and you gotta be nice to other parents. And I'm not naturally that way, so it's like, and there was very few points in my life where I had to be that way. Right. The only time I have to be really nice to adults is at work. Right. And the only time I never have to be nice to other people's kids. So it's just different now, because like at family gatherings, like when I'm not really comfortable around other kids, it's like, oh well, Keith don't got no kids, so we get it. But now I got a kid, and people will probably be like, oh yeah, this dude's probably amazing around kids. Nah, I'm still really terrible. I'm awesome around my kid, but
my kid understands me.
We understand each other. You remember that Kanye rhyme? Like I can't remember how it goes, but don't show me. I hate seeing pictures of other people's kids or something like that.
Yeah, and then he had two of them. I remember the one where he was like, my friend would show me pictures of their kids, and all I show him is pictures of my cribs. Or some shit like that. And but then I think the other line, he's like, don't show me no pictures of your kids or whatever. Like, I don't want to see no pictures of your kids.
Yeah. It was like probably like a feature on a freestyle or some shit like that. But anyway, like I thought that would change after I had my own kid, but now I feel I probably feel more that probably more intense now that feeling. I'm like, come on, man. But I guess it depends on personality. I guess the real when they talk about good parents is the ones who could step up to that role. You know what I'm saying?
Word up, yeah.
So
yeah, that's the challenge.
That's the challenge. And the shit I'm talking, people are like, man, that he probably hate being a dad. He probably one day gonna go say, I'm gonna go buy a pack of cigarettes and never come back. Nah, I'm not. That ain't the case at all. Like it's.
I don't think people feel like that. I think they understand you. Like I totally 100% understand what you say. I just couldn't verbalize it before, but now it's like you get it. You know what I'm saying? But like you know what I'm saying. So I know you get it. I don't think people feel like that.
Yeah,
but
it's like them comedians, man.
Yeah,
them comedians like, man, my wife, man, I hate it. Being married is awful. Later on in that same set, they'd be like, man, I'm not going back in the dating pool. Mm-hmm. So it's like I enjoy this awfulness, like the Chris Rock when he says shit is boring, but like you enjoy you wouldn't have your life no other way. So that's the interesting thing about that part of having a kid is that I gotta become goofy from the fucking Disney cartoons, right? But like I wouldn't have it no other way.
Yeah. And while you were, I was trying to find a better way to verbalize this, but while you were talking about taking your kid there and juxtaposing that with having to work out, it's like I said, this is bad terminology, but it's like a necessary evil, right? It's like you have to do the stuff that you that you don't want to do, and family time is apparently that.
Yeah, man, it's insane, bro. Like, yeah, it is a like what they call that shit, like a fucking. I don't remember the word, but it basically one of them things like is good, but it's not good at the same time. But it's like you'll take all the bad that comes with it. So like in the gym, they got different shit you could climb up on and all that shit. And I'm like, man, this kid's gonna learn how to climb and just tear shit up. But I'm like, you know what? Let me teach him how to climb, you know what I'm saying? So I'll just handle whatever comes with that because I want him to like learn shit and be able to explore how he wants to explore and all that. So
and it's a safe place for him to do it. Yeah. Nah, it's a weird thing, like you said, because you got to deal with the awkwardness too of other people's kids. So like your kid might knock somebody else down, or your kid might get knocked down. Then you got the awkwardness of that whole situation that you got to try to figure out. But yeah, it is dope. It's something that, you know what I'm saying, like I said, it's good to do. It's better to do. You know you have to do it. But there's no instant gratification in it. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely not.
So it's like it's and we're an instant gratification culture as much as we've experienced life, you know, before and after certain technology. We are very into instant gratification, and as I'm getting older, I'm trying to grow out of that. You know what I mean? And like, yo, do the harder shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? It might pay off later, but that shit pays off better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking on the workout shit too, I'm actually, you know, like when it's warm outside, I try to like walk or get outside. I bought a bike last year, so I started doing the biking. But like, I want to get started with that shit early. Like, I don't even want to wait till spring come around. Like, I kind of want to just wait till there's no like ice on the ground, but it keep fucking snowing, so it kind of fuck shit up. But when it's not slick outside and nothing like that, pull the bike out. Even right now, like I might after we done here, just go take a walk, just get back on my walking shit.
Yeah, same here, man. I've never taken so many walks in my life, but
winter walks. Like, you been winter walking?
Well, over here it's not as icy as it is up there, probably. So like the ice is gone. Okay. And even the days we had the iciness, like it might have been icy for that week, like the 4 days, and then some of it melts away, and it's good enough where you could walk a little bit. So, but for me, walking is really important because I work from home, and if you don't be diligent about making sure that you get active and getting outside, I could be inside for like 3 days, bro, and just not go outside because I don't have to. But I try to find reasons to go outside.
Yeah, it's walking's my new shit. I think that's the late 30s like cheat code. Like you like, yo, I'm gonna get these steps in. You know what I'm saying?
Good on your knees.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna get it that way. I might even start doing my steps. Like I live on a second floor apartment, and you know, like I got a stairwell. I was like, fuck it, I might just hit it for like, you know what I mean? Incorporate that 15 minutes of that. Then I've been hitting the exercise bike or whatever. But yeah, the ice be fucking shit up, man. Like yesterday I was doing food deliveries and shit, and I almost slipped like 4 times. Like literally the weather's just been so weird that it was kind of warm on Friday, but then at night it got dumb windy. So like that wind chill made everything freeze, and then it snowed on top of that. So you had like a sheet of ice with a layer of snow on top of it. Like I'm literally, shit looked like a smooth step, and the next thing you know, you in the Winter Olympics. You fucking curling out there. But I ain't bust my ass yet.
Be on somebody's Ring doorbell camera to get posted on Instagram. Fuck around.
Viral movie. Nah, it's but I'm gonna get back into the walking. Fucking, I'm gonna take the. Cause I don't know, something like the cold. You got, I don't know, like the cold always was a deterrent, and now I'm like, yo, fuck it, like use it as another challenge. You know what I'm saying? Go into that shit. I ain't trying to look like 50 Cent popping up upside down. Like nigga, I ain't trying to hit him like that, man. I'm trying to, all right, let me tighten shit up before I throw on the wife beat. Before wife be the weather coming back around. You know what I mean? Nah. Fuck that.
Yeah, 50 Cent definitely put a lot of dudes in the gym, and it's close to the new year. Like we only about a month and a half out from the new year. People saw 50 Cent come down like Dracula from that shit, and they're like, yo, what's like? It was such cognitive dissonance because you heard the goat, and then you saw a dude upside down, and you remember 50 being swole at that time. Mm-hmm. So then you see this dude, he's hanging upside down. I thought it was a sketch at first. Like my mind was, I couldn't quickly make the connection that, 50 is under Dre's umbrella and Eminem's umbrella. And of course it's 50 and the song is playing. Everything was just hit me at the same time. I'm like, yo, why is Dupree from Wayne's Brothers hanging upside down in the Super Bowl? I'm like, they're trying to make like a fun or something. And I'm like, wait, is that 50? Oh, yeah, man. Like,
you like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg still on they funny shit when they had Ezel play Eazy-E and shit. Like they still on their parody.
Yeah,
shit.
bro. They had to tap into the old society of black comics. They like, yo, let's pull the chubby dude from Lean on Me to come through.
Steal from Juice. Fucking Nah, it's it was a good halftime show. Like to segue into that, man. Though, like I was kind of feeling that was good for hip hop, bro. Like it was a good look. I had no idea 50 was gonna be there though. Like I kind of disconnected myself. He was a surprise guest, right? Like if I'm not mistaken, because I disconnected myself from Super Bowl media. I think because everyone was sick in my crib the week before, and we was kind of recovering from that shit. But so I didn't pay much attention. But I saw 50 pop. It was a good like, yo, okay, guest appearance. You know what I mean? It was kind of dope. I kind of wish the game was there, to be honest with you. Though I don't think that would have been a good look. But I guess everything going on, they were like, yo, we gonna ride with 50. You know what I mean? We don't know where y'all at right now. But it was a good halftime show for hip-hop. Like, I think that was a beautiful look. Snoop was out there throwing up the C's, fucking crip walking. I believe he had a blunt or a joint in his hand at one point. Like, Snoop was doing it. Yeah, man. But Snoop is that man. Snoop is that guy.
Yeah, I think it's it was a good show for... year after year, it feels like halftime is when dudes could go take a bathroom break and refill their beer, and the people who don't like, who aren't necessarily football fans, will come into the room and watch the halftime show, and then once the third quarter starts, people swap again. They leave. The people who aren't football fans could leave or just kind of drift around, and the people who do like football come back for the football game. But I feel like everybody could have watched this show because the dancers was dudes.
They was, right? Yeah, they was doing some like elbows out type gangster, like choreographed shit. I was like, yeah. It was tough though. It was crazy. It wasn't super corny. It was all right.
Right, exactly. Like it's that part, when you go to the club and the idea is that, I'm gonna go dance with girls, but there's a portion of the party, maybe 2-3 songs where it's just for the dudes. You know what I'm saying? That's what it felt. That's what the show felt like. It was for the dudes and Mary J. Blige.
Yeah. How'd you think Mary J. Blige fit into the performance? Like, I'm happy that she was there just because I like who Mary J. Blige is. I don't know if she necessarily fit in the performance, but I was happy just for her. I'm listening to Mary J. Blige since I was in fucking elementary school, right? So it's like she's a cultural icon. But how did you feel she fit into the whole performance of it all?
As far as fit, I'll be honest, man. She performed all bangers. Her set was dope, like everything. But it felt like, and we discussed this before. It's like if you with the dudes, y'all having dude time, y'all drinking or just hanging out, doing dude stuff, and your homie's responsible for the playlist, and it's joint after joint playing Jay-Z, You Don't Know, 50, one of the joints where he's dissing Ja Rule or killing somebody, and then this, and then all of a sudden they play the joint, the Mary J joint from yeah, no more drama, some shit like that. He'd be like, yo, bro, what happened? And he's like, yo, skip it. He's like, nah, I'm not skipping it, bro. And he's like, oh, all right, bet. All right, whatever. Just let the song play, man. I know next time to never let you handle the playlist. And then the next song is some next merry joint, like
Family Affair,
411 or something like that.
He's like, okay, this nigga getting in his bag right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so it's kind of like it was that. It was okay, it's Mary J. Blige. Like, so for instance, she performed at the NBA All-Star Saturday, and
how was that? I didn't get a chance to see it. How was
it made sense.
Okay,
it was cool. I mean, the dunk contest sucked, and honestly,
I saw
good,
that.
But
I saw the dunk contest, but I didn't see the Khaled performance.
Yeah, because it was Khaled, so Khaled he just brings the party out, so it makes sense. He could bring anyone out. He could have brought out Alicia Keys with the piano, and it'd be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Eminem, it didn't throw the show off, but it was just like okay, Mary J. Blige, it's interesting. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
That's cute.
Like, yeah. Does MJB and Dre have, or any of the other rappers have songs together?
I believe Dr. Dre produced Family Affair, the Dancery song. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's a Dre produced song. And they have worked on other things, and I believe he's working on her new project. But beyond that, the connection I feel was she connected more with 50. She on Power. I think, you know what I'm saying? But all
right. Yeah. But musically, like as far aside from that production,
I think musically, it seems like if they pitched Eminem, Kendrick, Dr. Dre, and Snoop, maybe they had pushback like, yo, let's get a female artist in there just to diversify it. And she was like, all right, well, who makes most sense, I guess, with them? Let's get the queen of hip hop.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, though, that, the show was good, though. I spent about 3 minutes bitching about it, but the show was real good. MJBNR, I really liked MJB's performance. She went in. Like, it looked like she's like, yo, this is put it all out there, bro. Like, literally, and she fell at the end. The dramatic, like, the fallback.
Word up.
Like, she went in.
I feel like people are overly critical of women, though, in general. And then black women on top of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, she's dressed like Beyonce. Like, they find anything. I'm like, yo, it's good. She did good. She looks good. 50-something years old.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she did a great job. Like, let's stop finding faults with everything that women do. I feel like that culture is prevalent, like, so heavy on the internet. And I guess as artists, they have to just avoid it, right? They have to find a way to listen to I tweeted something this week, like, people pay more attention to their haters than their supporters, and you just got to listen to the support, I guess, and not pay attention to the dumb shit. But let me see. Like, the Super Bowl in general was pretty dope. I shout out to the Rams. They won. You know what I mean? I won $300 off that game. The fucking because you could bet in New York,
man.
Yeah, you could bet in New York now. And FanDuel was doing some shit like you could just bet $5. You could win $280. So I ended up winning on the Rams. And then what I won on the heads and tails shit. I picked heads. You was able to pick up the coin toss and shit like that. And then the over under on the first half, I literally like made that by like the barely made it, but fucking won that shit. So yeah, it wasn't a bad Super Bowl for me.
Yeah, that's dope, man. One of the dudes at my gym said he won on OBJ getting the first touchdown and all that. So.
The betting in New York thing is kind of dope. It's kind of fire. I ain't gonna lie. Like, New York stepped their game up with the legalizing the weed and the gambling, and, you know what I mean, prostitution, I guess, is next. But legal sex work, I guess, is the name that they would call it. But I think, you know what I'm saying, like, why limit people, right? Like, it's kind of like open shit up, and I'm not saying heroin and fucking everything should be decriminalized, but kind of open shit up, tell people the risk, right? Every commercial that talks about gambling tells you, hey, you got a problem, call this number. That should be big as fuck on the screen, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, give people the freedom, and then give them the resources to help themselves, but give them the freedom. Like, it feels crazy that you could smoke weed in New York recreationally, but my motherfucker's getting pulled over for it in another state. That's nuts.
Yeah, the law and the legalization joint is very interesting. I mean, and there's a debate right now as far as, like, not necessarily legalizing stuff, but certain prosecutors in the country saying, all right, we're incarcerating too many people, so let's take it easy. But then the crime rate's going up, so there's that debate going on. So
Can't please them all, man. You can't please them all. But let's get further into this shit. We was talking a little sports and shit like that, but let's get into the news, man. How you know it's February right now? Yeah, it's gonna be February when this episode drops though. How y'all like? I don't know how I feel about Black History Month. I'll be honest, bro. I was gonna ask before this story even came up, but is like Black History Month even a thing? Like, I only know one like company entity really like doing it, and it's Charlemagne's company, his podcast thing called the Black Effect Network. They have like these little 3-minute clips that drop called like I Didn't Know, Maybe You Didn't Either, and it's basically dropping little Black history tidbits, but it's like 2 minutes long, so it's not hard to listen to. And it's actually pretty interesting, but that's the only people I know really doing the Black history thing. And I came across a story where T-Pain was asked about how he felt about Black History Month and how he thinks, actually the reporter asked him, what advice would he give for white people that want to celebrate Black History Month? And T-Pain's advice was stop celebrating. Although we celebrate Black History Month, I think we should just have history. They overshot it. We don't want our own shit. You're separating us again. We want to be part of history, not just 1 month of it. He continued to say, like, we don't want to be part of history. Don't celebrate 1 month for us. I'd rather everybody stop celebrating that shit and just let us be part of history, not just y'all get paid attention on the shortest month of the year. End quote. Do you agree with T-Pain? You think we should just, I guess abolish, get rid of Black History Month, or do you think it still serves a purpose? And my daughter's in elementary school right now. She hasn't come home talking about anything about it, saying anything about it. I haven't seen anything. Not that they send the kids home with much stuff now because of COVID anyway, but I haven't even got the vibe that they like something that they teach in schools.
I think Black History Month has served its purpose. I don't think it should be abolished quite yet, only because I don't think people have figured out what to do instead. And I think that's the big thing, figuring out what to do instead. I think T-Pain has a point with integrating Black history, quote unquote Black history, into what we know as just history. You know what I'm saying? So we've been begging for like certain things that's for us for a long time. We still are. Like, we're asking for things that's for us, right? Like historically Black schools. There's an African American History Museum, the big one in Washington, then a bunch throughout the country. I think that stuff is important because when it just kind of gets washed into everything else, people don't have a full appreciation for it. So while Black History Month is far from the best thing we could do, I don't think we figured out how exactly we could properly do Black culture and Black history justice. At least not yet. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with most of his point, but as far as like just tossing it away, I don't think we're there yet. I think it still serves a purpose, right? Like when you hear on the podcast a piece of Black history, when a white person listens to it, it's like, all right, well, I just learning that history would give them some sort of appreciation for it.
But do they look at it like that?
What is frustrating though is the rest of the year not really having that appreciation for it.
Mm-hmm. And that's, like you said, that one, not only giving us shortest month, but giving us the 1 month. And then two, it's like how many white people feel like it's funny, right? Because it's only 1 month, but how many white people, I guess, feel marginalized by that fact that we're making a big deal of, you know what I'm saying? And then later in the year is Hispanic Heritage Month. And then at some point in the year, it's got to be Asian History Month. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, do they even have an appreciation for it? Or at some point, are they just eye rolling at it? You know what I mean? It's tricky. It's a tricky situation. I don't even know how I really feel about Black History Month. Like, I don't have a better suggestion. You know what I'm saying? I don't have something that I would say that we could do instead. It's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't get rid of it, but I don't really know if it's doing much at this point. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know if it's serving its purpose. Like, we've mentioned this on this podcast every February. McDonald's did it heavy. You know what I'm saying? If I saw that, it would do something for me. You know, at my old job, there was this poster that they would put up every February with notable Black history figures on it. But it's like, I mean, we putting up posters and we're showing commercials. You know what I mean? Like, is that really making any type of change? Maybe it is. I don't know the psychological effect, that it has on me. I know looking at Obama as the president for the 8 years that he was, it did something for my pride. It did something for my confidence to see that. So possibly these posters and commercials might do something for somebody else's confidence with that's black as well. But to me personally, I don't know if it's if it's doing it for me. I'm not anti-Black History Month by any stretch of the imagination. I think there's something else we could be doing, and I really don't even have the suggestion to say what it is at the moment, because celebrate us throughout the year, right? Biggest, like I said, maybe with T-Pain got roasted for that. And I feel like it's, because everyone just jumps on a fucking bandwagon and it's like, all right, let's cancel somebody. But there's actual, a conversation to be had there. You know what I mean? About, well, all right, cool, let's take him instead of canceling him and trying to fucking roast him. Maybe have the conversation. What is it doing? What are the pros and cons? What are the benefits? Don't just cancel people.
Yeah. Well, to your, I guess that point you bring up of what is it that Black History Month is doing and the posters and stuff. I mean, to be honest with you, I learned a lot of different pieces of Black history I wouldn't have learned otherwise.
Interesting tidbits,
not
right?
Been for tidbits, exactly. If it had not been for the calendars and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And sometimes it may have made me pick up a book or ask a teacher about it or something like that. So it does something. The question is, can we do that better, right? Can this be in the actual pages of the textbook versus us just having to get it from a 12-month calendar, like one of them calendars you get for free from like the mechanic or something?
Mm-hmm. With Martin Luther King, Obama, and Jesus all in the same picture. Rocking
right, exactly.
Rocking out on the cover, yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, though, you get all like the super famous people who you don't get you don't get the history of it. Like, they become deities. They're not even people anymore once they reach a certain level, right? Like, they just names and figures, but we still don't know the history unless you look deeper into it. Mm-hmm. But would you be better off just not having known them before, like not having known Medgar Evers or not having known what Rosa Parks did or whatever? I think a lot of Black History Month stuff entrenched that stuff into the lexicon, at least the American lexicon, as far as like, this is history. Like, these people are part of history. You may not know a lot about them, but here goes the name and here goes a couple sentences on what they did. Now that sucks, but I don't think we figured out a better way to do like a widespread, better education of Black culture and Black history and a Black appreciation.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe that is a solution, right? We just got to amplify it. It's on us, right? It's on the me, it's on you, it's on the right. Black celebrities. We just got to amplify it because we are living proof that it did something. There was a benefit, right? We graduated from college. We got jobs. We are able to eloquently express ourselves on a podcast. You know what I mean? Based on the education that we had and that information. So maybe that needs to be amplified. Maybe we need 2 months. Maybe we need to, like you said, it needs to be part of the curriculum. It needs to be, you know what I mean? We just got to amplify it. And maybe, all right, boom, we get a month. So let's turn up for the month. You'll see, you know what I mean, how many more people we can educate, man. But shit, I guess keeping along the lines of just cancellation and Black Twitter, we didn't get to touch base since news broke that, you know, Awkwafina was gonna get canceled. Asian actress Awkwafina, just what's her real name? Nora something. Shit, I gotta get her name. But she's been in roles like Raya in The Last Dragon. She's been in Crazy Rich Asians, right? She's been in what else? What's the latest thing she was in recently? Shang-Chi, the Marvel movie. So definitely
she got her own show.
A Comedy Central show, it's correct too, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Nora from Queens.
Yeah. So it was kind of weird, right? We didn't know where it came from. It kind of hit our whole circle, like, with a question mark. But basically, people was trying to cancel Awkwafina for having a black scent, which the term black scent was like the most disrespectful part about, I think, the whole thing. Like, I'm like, black scent? What the fuck we trying to say here? But apparently people don't like the way Awkwafina talks, right? And then not even in real life. Like, I've seen Awkwafina do videos, like do interviews. I mean, they kind of don't like how she talks in the movie roles that she's in, if I'm not mistaken, and kind of wanted her to apologize for it. And then when she made a statement about it, kind of was like, well, that ain't no real apology. Which I would never apologize if I was her. Like, I'm so confused by it. Like, maybe you can make it make sense for me, Keith, because I'm like, I've seen her do interviews, right? She don't talk like that in interviews. Everything I've seen where people have been able to pull it up on her, she was playing a role in a movie. And it wasn't like a role that she took away from a minority. You know what I'm saying? Like people, y'all pulling her up the way she's talking in Crazy Rich Asians, and it's like, I don't think she was being a caricature of a black person. Maybe I got to watch the entire movie, but I felt like she didn't take that role away from a black person. Like, what is that? And then I had to look at it, right? Where'd the outrage come from? I think we asked that in our group chat, you know what I mean? Bookstore Ricky, like we was all like, where this outrage came from. And I heard the black, like, and it's been something, like, I was looking up, doing research for this. It's something that is not new. People have been making videos and YouTube videos about the way Awkwafina talks for a while now, but I guess the backlash intensified in January because she received the NAACP Image Award nomination for a performance in Raya and the Last Dragon, a Disney movie, which my daughter loves, by the way. So yeah, she finally, I guess, spoke out about it, and after this recent stretch of backlash, and had a lot to say on it, but basically people were not really impressed with what she had to say on it. How do you feel about this whole situation? Because I learned about Awkwafina through you and Bookstore Ricky talking about it. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't know who she was, and then I noticed she graduated from my alma mater, right? If I'm not mistaken, U Albany, Great Dane stand up. Mm. But yeah, other than that, I didn't know much about her. But yeah, other than that, I don't really know much about her. So it's like, it put me on, Keith. How do you feel about this? You might be a little bit more attached to it than I am.
I don't believe I am. I think I'm just a dude pushing 40 that's just trying to wrap my head around some of this stuff. I've wrapped my head around most of it, but there's still some blind spots I got, and I think this is one of them. Mm-hmm. I was quite offended that people, first I'm offended at the word black scent. Like, something about that, it didn't sit well with me, and I would really love to know who made that shit up. Who made a black scent word? Release date tweets. Word up, man. Release day tweets, man, because I'm like, black scent. But then I actually watch her work. I've seen every episode of Nora from Queens. I've watched all her movies that have been available for no additional charge to me. And honestly, that's only 2 movies. One is the joint on Apple TV with Mahershala Ali, mm-hmm. and then Crazy Rich Asians. And it did. Oh,
she's in the new Mahershala Ali movie, the one that just came out.
It's on Apple TV. It's some joint where
he clones himself.
Say it again.
He clones himself. He clones.
Yeah,
he has a clone. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So she's in that.
Okay.
And she talks like how she normally talks, more or less, even though it's a more dramatic role, so it's more subdued, but more or less her, her intonations and whatever slight accent that she has, it just doesn't strike me as like a black person. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just doesn't. Like, it just sounds like a young person from a random neighborhood in New York City. That's just what it, what I'm saying? I can't even place it. I can't even say from Harlem or Brooklyn. It's just, or you're black or you're some other color. Like, it's just, I don't get it. Like, I don't. And then if she's not to talk like that, how is she to talk? Because mm-hmm. she's Asian, maybe she should talk like some other way. You know what I'm saying?
Like how y'all want her to talk. Yeah, exactly. Like y'all want her to be the stereotypical Asian voice that they get offended by. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think you said it best in the group chat. It was one of you guys. I don't know if I'm misquoting, but it might have been you or Bookstore Ricky. Like, it's a New York City accent. Like, a non-black person that from New York City. Like, we used to that. You know what I'm saying? When like, to us, we hear that. It's like, it's not anything funny style. And it's like, but I think the stuff that they really getting offended by is like her in movie roles. And I'm like, the other chick, if I'm not mistaken, from Crazy Rich Asians is the same girl from Swingers, and I think she's from Fresh Off the Boat. She talks different in all of those roles. Like, why is she not getting no backlash? Is it, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, where did this originate from? Like, what do you, like, I feel like Black Twitter, I really do feel like they be riling them up, because it's like, where did this come from? Like, who the fuck gives a fuck about Awkwafina that much? To want to cancel, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Shorty's doing her thing. I feel like there's a lot more people we could be coming at, and you know what I mean? Yeah. Other than Awkwafina. Like,
I am in touch with the culture enough to know that she's a pretty big deal, so I can see why you give a fuck about her. But as far as like just listening to her accent, I don't know, maybe it's a New York thing. Maybe some black dude from Louisiana said, man, that don't sound right, and then tweeted something and it got retweeted tons of times. But mm-hmm. I guess maybe is a New York. It just didn't jump out at me. Like it didn't. It wasn't even to me reminiscent of a black person. It was just like someone who just had the resources to either purchase a bunch of albums, rap albums, or has friends who purchases a bunch. Like she just sounds like somebody who listens to a lot of rap. I just don't even know how to describe her accent.
And she raps. Which is another thing, which maybe people offended by that. Maybe few people feel like there's cultural appropriation in that more so than anything. But it's just like it's and I don't know. Were you able to see or hear anything about like Joe Rogan's recent controversy? Like it was funny. My mom put me onto this story, but and when she had told me about it, all I knew was when the first time they came for Joe really was when they were trying to cancel him based off of what they called anti-vax views, or that he's spreading anti-vax rhetoric, or just coronavirus misinformation, I believe was the term that they use. So my mom told me about it. She's like, yeah, they coming for Joe Rogan. They saying he racist. And I'm talking to my mom, like, what you talking about, Mom? It's some anti-vax shit. What you like, I didn't even know about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like shutting her down. Then the next thing, like everything blew. She was trying to like tell me about India.Arie, but she couldn't remember her name. So she was like, what's that girl name? Ariana. I'm like, Mom, what you talking about? You know, Ariana Grande coming for Joe Rogan. but fucking yeah, apparently, you know, India.Arie said that she wanted her music off of Spotify because of Joe Rogan. There was I don't believe India.Arie made the video with the N-word, the compilation basically, where they played how many times Joe Rogan used the N-word. Or just several times throughout the years of his podcast that he used the N-word openly, not and you know actually said the word. But I believe India might have reposted the video where he told the Planet of the Apes story. And that was I don't know if you heard it, so but basically like he says he went to go see Planet of the Apes in the hood pretty much, and then he walks in the theater and he says something like, we were in Planet of the Apes, we were in Africa, as a reference to the black people, which I think, you know, is something that he said. But then like 2 seconds, it's the craziest thing about that video is like if you clip it, right, it's like, yo, this is bad. But if you watch the whole video, it's like he makes that reference, and then he says, "Yo, that was racist. That was terrible. It's like Planet of the Apes. You know what I mean? That wasn't even a good joke." And then he later on the story that he's telling is about the misrepresentation of, lack of representation of black people in Hollywood. He's like how it didn't really hit him. He heard black creators complain about being underrepresented, and it didn't hit him till he's in a theater full of black people. And we're watching a movie, right? And where the only black character was the bad guy, and he wasn't even from America. Like they got a black guy from England or whatever to be the bad guy in that movie, and he's just like, yo, it hit him at that moment. And really, it's actually a good story about like the underrepresentation of minorities in Hollywood. But people didn't run with that. They took the clip, they took the part that they did and just added it with the compilation of using the N-word, and basically was like, yo, we got to cancel Joe. Spotify was like, nah, you know, we standing by him. One, probably because they kind of have no choice to, right? They paid him a ton of money. I'm sure if they cut him off, he's obligated to some portion of that big amount of money that they'd have to pay him out. So it's like in their best interest to hold on to him. India.Arie, I don't believe is a big enough of a draw to make a threat. And then she actually accepted his apology, which was pretty cool on her part. Is it Neil Young or Neil Diamond? That they wanted their music off of it. Neil Young, like I don't think that's a big enough draw for Spotify to really give a fuck about either. So I mean, unless a bigger artist maybe wants to come and threaten that, it's not really gonna make a pull. They're gonna stick with Joe. And I think that's cool on their part. Joe's apology seemed sincere. He said, yo, he hasn't used the N-word in years. He knew the videos would come back up because he's done it on the show. And in those times, he wasn't always. I think he said in all those times he wasn't being racist. He was actually saying he should have used the term the N-word, but he said he isn't. He wanted to say the word. Which is funny because I always thought like, yo, if I was a white person, there's no way you could have, like, you're gonna tell me I can't rap the N-word in my car. Like there's no way you can't tell me I can't use the N-word in my car. Like I'm fucking rap this shit. I'm not gonna do it in public. You know what I'm saying? Like, but right. I'm gonna let them N-words fly in the fucking car. But fucking, because I know they do. But fucking, I think. But funny thing is, like, I wouldn't use it in front of people. I wouldn't use it in front of like a female because it's like, you know, she's gonna be like, well, how come you're not rapping that lyric now in front of Jamal? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't want to get called out for some shit like that, but I probably would if I was a white person. Like, it's out there too much, right? So I think Joe was just kind of on some like, I'm saying the word, like, fuck, who's gonna stop me? And it came back to bite him in the ass. But I don't think it was worth cancellation. And I guess in his favor, it wasn't worth cancellation because it didn't happen. What's your thoughts on the whole situation with Joe Rogan and shit? Because I know you've seen something similar. What happened?
I feel as if the COVID misinformation thing didn't work. So they say, hey, how about this one? Like, all right, that shot didn't work. Let me try this one. And I feel like the N-word stuff. I think the worst of it all is and I didn't listen to the full clips. I just listened to whatever they put out there. I don't listen to Joe Rogan regularly, but I do know he's a big deal. Like in Spotify, he has his own category right? It's like hip hop, podcast, this, Joe Rogan. Mm-hmm. So
he's like, well, Howard Stern is the XM serious. It's going like the biggest draw, pretty much, right? In podcasting,
right? Yeah, right. And then it's similar to how Netflix was tied in with Dave Chappelle, but with Joe Rogan, he's probably more tied into Spotify because he's a huge chunk of they invested a lot into him. And if his shit goes, like, they would have a tough time. If Dave Chappelle were to get taken down from Netflix, they would have a tough time, but they would be all right, in my opinion. But anyway, the joint where I went to some neighborhood that looked like Planet of the Apes, something like that. I think that was the worst of it all. I think they could have released that first one. All right, this is pretty bad, and just see what happens. All the COVID misinformation stuff, I feel like that's the political aspect of it coming out, because he's just a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he says some stuff that may not be correct, but it's like he's just a guy. Like, we're not surprised by the fact that he says weird stuff about COVID. And, you know, he brings guests on, he lets them talk. New York Times did a little thing on this, and they were just reporting on what his style is. Like, he just brings people on and lets them talk. Like, he doesn't cut them off, even if he disagrees with them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just what it is. Should he be canceled? Essentially, what he's saying here is not new, right? But somehow he kind of came to people's attention. They brought it up. So I don't know, like, should he be I'm not a fan of cancellation anyway, so
Word.
I guess I'm not the one to ask whether or not he should be canceled, but I guess just me being cynical, I'm like, hey, I'm not surprised he said the N-word. Kind of like what you said, like, you're not surprised if you hear about a white dude rapping the N-word in his car around his other white friends.
And I don't think that makes him racist. I don't. Like, I don't think it's cool. Right. I don't want to hear that shit, but I don't think that necessarily makes you racist. If it's too ingrained in the culture to avoid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just sold a book, actually, like on eBay, called Nigger. And like, before I sold it, I read it when I was younger, but then I was like flipping through some of the pages, and it was like literally some of the stories were about like cancellations for using the N-word. Like, basically a professor, in a conversation about like offensive words, lost his job because one of the offensive words that were brought up was nigger. And then they started to have a debate about the word. Eventually lost a job over it. You know what I mean? A coach using the N-word thought it was like a term of affection. All the players on his team used it. Thought it would be cool. Right. And it wasn't. Ended up losing his job over it. So it's not something new. This isn't new to the lexicon. It's America's word. More than any other word, you know what I'm saying? It's America's word, and you know, there's an ugly part to it. There's a part that might be a term of endearment, and then there's going to be a part that's going to be forever a gray area. And to your point, I'm not into cancellation. I'm into consultation. Right? Is that the right term? I think. You know what I'm saying? I'm preaching. But yeah,
Johnny Cocker, preach.
You know what I mean? Sit some people down and talk to them, bro. Like, let them know what the deal is. Like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, let's talk this out. Let me tell you why this was wrong. Let me tell you why you can't say that, right, bro. Don't just punch him in the face. Let me tell you why you can't say that. And I think we need to start doing more. I think of, like, even with the Awkwafina thing, to circle back to that, I think have a conversation. Like, what offends y'all about her? Let her know, and she could respond back. She's an educated young lady. She could respond back, and I think there could be a discussion that comes out of it where maybe both sides can learn something. But yeah, man, we run a little tight on time, Keith. So we're doing rapid fire edition of my favorite segment. It's called Have You Heard?
Keep connected.
I got a question. Now the question I ask you is how bad you want to know.
I hear things in the news, some headlines, and I bring them to the table, see if my man Keith has heard. Rapid fire edition, man. Keith, have you heard? Your boy Kodak Black got shot outside of a Justin Bieber after party?
I heard a little bit of. So the part I heard, right, is like the early reports. There was a shooting around a Justin Bieber party, and Kodak Black had a fight outside. Yeah, this I don't know. It's just weird, man. I don't know. Justin Bieber done turned his life to the Lord or whatever, and there was some pretty big stars in there that I know ain't with that shooting smoke. So I'm confused about this whole story.
Well, Super Bowl weekend, so everyone's in town. Everyone's partying together without, you know what I mean? So it's like,
right.
But like, I'd be tight if I went to a Justin Bieber after party and I got shot, bro. I came here not to get shot. I could have went to Drake shit, man. But fucking I don't know how true this is, but I heard it might be. You know how Kodak Black is a wild boy, and it's reached a point where, you know, you're just a wild boy for the wildest shit you say. But remember when Nipsey passed away and Kodak was like, kind of like, yo, Lauren London, holla at me? I heard this might be, remember, because he was locked up, so he wasn't really traveling to the West Coast like that during that time, and I think this might have been one of his first trips back out there, and yeah, shit got nervous.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. LA just, you know, you can't fuck around like that in LA.
Well, you seen the baby, the fight he got in with Danny Lay's brother? You seen that shit at the bowling alley? Have you heard?
No, that's not. I did not hear about that, but that's crazy too. What the hell? Didn't he get beat up? I only
baby?
know this from memes. No,
the baby did not. Danny Lay's brother definitely. Yeah,
Danny Lay's brother.
Yeah, Danny Lay's brother definitely got beat up. But all right. So you understand this. I was trying to explain this shit to my girl. She really couldn't get it. But I was like, so Danny Lay's brother basically stepped to the baby. Remember when when all this shit went down a couple months ago when the baby had Danny Lay, I guess, arrested and all that shit. Right. Danny Lay's brother put a video out saying, yo, you're gonna have to see me when you come to LA, da. Fast forward, Super Bowl weekend, the baby's at a bowling alley. From what I see in the video, Danny Lay's brother approaches the baby and his crew solo dolo. Like, yo, what up? I guess on some man-to-man, let's go shoot the fair one. Where they do that at? Put me on the game. Because they definitely gave him that bowling alley. They treated him like a bowling ball. They definitely, you got to go check out the video. But I mean, it's also, I think, maybe that was a strategy. Let me fight him in a bowling alley and then bait them onto the alley where it's all slippery. Because I guess he would have got his ass beat a lot worse if it wasn't on the slippery part of the shit. But yeah, it was. But I get, you know, to him, and I was trying to explain this. I was like, his social currency is now, I did what I said I was gonna do, right? It's like, you gotta go check the video out. It's on TMZ. But he was like, I did what I said I was gonna do. He said he came to my town. I fucking had to defend my sister's honor. And then the baby get to say, I ain't get my ass kicked, and y'all see what happened to homeboy, and you know what I mean? So he gets the social currency from that. So I guess in their own way, and then he's gonna call the baby pussy for not fighting the man up. The baby gonna be like, well, we whooped your pussy ass and da. And now the baby's actually getting sued by the bowling alley for I heard some substantial amount of money for damage done. Because he's the only notable name, which is fucked up, right? It's kind of, but I guess like, hey, he comes to life, right?
Yep.
But yeah, check that video out if you haven't seen it. It's kind of funny. Actually, I've seen the shit where they put like the cartoon music on top of it because they all slipping and sliding all over the place. So the shit look kind of funny. But what else? Have you heard the Bob Sagat autopsy results were not released because his family threatened to sue?
Yeah, I didn't look too deep into this, but from what I understand, he had like some head injuries, like, because initially it was like, oh, well, he slipped, bumped his head and he went to bed. He probably didn't realize how bad it was, but like the injuries is kind of strange. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just It's like in multiple parts of the skull or something like that.
Mm-hmm. From what I understand, they
I
said
don't know.
something like it's kind of similar to someone getting hit with a baseball bat to the head who has fallen from 20 to 30 feet.
Oh man, it's unfortunate, man. Dude passed away. I don't understand this story. This is file this away and shit Keith doesn't understand. I've heard about, but don't understand.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of leading itself or lending itself to conspiracy theory, right? The way it happened, the cover up, not cover up, but I guess his family suing to keep it private. It's got some like it smells of conspiracy theory, but we don't know. And I mean, you want to respect the family, right? Not be all up in their business, but it's. Bob Saget was also liked and loved by a lot of people, so there's going to be interest in how he passed away. And this seems weird. This is definitely a question mark, man. But you got to file it in the same category for your boy Plicca as well, man. Keith.
Yeah, man. It's definitely one of them stories that make me go into my spam folder and say, maybe these QAnon emails aren't spam. Let me just check out what they talking about, because the world is crazy.
Was there a Bob Saget reference on QAnon? Oh shit, man. Well, we spoke about this guy earlier, but we'll speak about him again, man. Your boy Snoop Dogg buys his former record label Death Row Records. Have you heard?
And I always admire Snoop's moves. That dude just works, man. He says, "Oh, there's a job. All right, let's work." And there you go, man. He's just done all kinds of stuff. His portfolio is so diversified. It's really cool to see where Snoop has come. Like, we grew up with Snoop, seeing Snoop rap. And then he went to acting. He tried clothing. His clothing was more or less trash, but he's just doing stuff. And, like, he's just bound to be successful. So to see this, I'm not surprised at all to see him, him having a record label, buying his old record label, got the dog in the electric chair. Like, that's cool to see something like that go full circle. So I'm curious to see where he goes with this,
especially for the way
completely
the way shit ended, right? Isn't that like the perfect fuck you back to the record label that kind of like jerked you? I mean, they gave you a start, but it didn't end well. So that's like the perfect fuck you back to, like, I guess Suge Knight. Like, yeah, I'm taking it. Right. I got this shit. Snoop actually bought it from the private equity company MNRK Music Group, and now it's Snoop's, man. So we're going to see what's going to go on over there. Big things, hopefully, for Death Row Record. That'd be a nice little bounce back to a record label that we grew up listening to. Keith, have you heard Jada Pinkett Smith is not having a baby, but Naomi Campbell did release pictures this week of her 1-year-old baby?
No, I have not heard at all.
The rumors came out this past week that Jada Pinkett Smith, who I believe is in her 50s, was pregnant, and it was sparked many like question marks, people scratching their head, but apparently that's not true, or it doesn't appear to be true. But Naomi Campbell, who is maybe around the same age, maybe a little older, actually had a baby last year. Now I'm assuming this is through like a surrogate, right? Like these, like Janet Jackson had a baby recently. Like, they're not delivering these babies, right?
I don't know, bro. It's possible though. I mean, it's possible.
You think so?
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it seems dangerous, but I mean,
it definitely is dangerous. But with modern medicine, especially fertility medicine, like, a lot of things that were unlikely, let's say 30 years ago, they're very much likely now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They might be having, they might be having surrogates and all that type of stuff, but I wouldn't rule it out that they're delivering these kids.
That's more power to them, man. That would be awesome, bro. And some weird news, man. I guess you don't even know how to feel about this, but Keith, have you heard Officer Kim Potter was found guilty in the death of Daunte Wright, but was only sentenced to 2 years?
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
Wasn't it guilty on manslaughter or something like that?
I believe so. Now, this is the story of the lady that pulled out the taser. Pulled out her gun supposedly mistaked it for her taser, yelled taser in the video, and then shot Daunte Wright. Yeah, it was a weird one. The judge like teared up during her sentencing, but 2 years, that's, I mean, for wrongful killing of a person during a traffic stop. Shit. Like I don't know how I feel about that, bro. I mean, like, I guess she could have got off scot-free, right? Maybe back in the day, we used to see officers get off scot-free. So the fact that she's serving some sort of sentence, I guess is crazy. Apparently she has to serve at least 2/3 of that sentence, and with good behavior could be out on probation for the third part of that third of a sentence. But yeah, the judge said that she's a cop who made a tragic mistake. It's kind of had a lot of sympathy for her, put it like that. Judge Regina Chu. Mm-hmm. Gave her that 2-year sentence and said that police officers have the most difficult job in public service. So definitely had a lot of sympathy for her. Keith, have you heard your boy Kanye West said his next album will only be available through his streaming service? Is that something you could see yourself paying for?
No way. I believe it'll only be available. There's some kind of device called STEM. The STEM player or something like that. I don't know if you heard of this thing, but basically, you could basically it has controls where you could quiet out certain aspects of the song. So if you're like, oh, I want to hear the vocals only, you could like tune down all the other stuff. Oh, I just want to hear the bass. You do that.
Oh, okay.
I just want to hear the drums.
I did hear about that a few months ago.
Or the background singers. Yeah, and
okay, yeah, okay.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But you know what? Like Kanye's made a lot of shit where I was like, I'm good. Then it blows up. Like the Yeezy shoes, like over $200 or whatever, how much ever they cost. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But them shits blew the fuck up. People paying $100 or whatever it costs for the flip flops because they can't afford the shoes. A lot of people. Like the hoodies, I think he sold out them Gap hoodies that look exactly like the normal Gap hoodies, but I don't know I don't think it has a rope or something. And they're selling. So I wouldn't doubt that this thing blows up, but I know that I'm good, and I don't think I'm going to change from that position.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against Kanye. And I'm not going to sit here and say the music's not good, because I like some of Kanye's music still. I don't like the antics. I don't like the Kim Kardashian drama and Pete Davidson shit. I think it's kind of corny, but the music is not bad, but I don't think the music's good enough for me to sign up for no new streaming service where I could turn the bass down. Right. Like I'm a fucking DJ. Figure that shit out myself. Word. Keith, have you heard your boy T.I. is giving a shot at stand-up music?
Oh, stand-up music?
Stand-up music. I'm fucking up. Stand-up comedy. My fault.
Oh, because I heard he was doing stand-up, but I didn't realize. I was about to say, he doing stand-up music? That's gangster. Is that just rapping? You talking about
rapping like Seinfeld and shit?
Rapping? Yeah, I heard about that. I don't understand the story around it. I mean, he does comedy. He was in Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. And playing a comedic role. I'm sure that's not the first comedic role he has, but that's the one I saw. He's pretty good in it. So, and he probably feels that rap, he could rap his old shit. He probably put out a couple features, maybe a new album here and there, but he's trying to secure his futures. I'm guessing, but I haven't read what he said about his stand-up career.
Yeah. I think if you're a creative person, right, and rap unfortunately has this thing where there's kind of like an expiration date, like you're too old to be doing this, and some people's opinion. But I think if you're a creative person, you're gonna still want to create. You're known for being creative. That's what got you to this point in life. So you're gonna try your hands at some things. And I watched a video of him doing some stand up. It wasn't hilarious, but it was, it's someone just getting started. And you know what it reminded me of? And not that this is weird. I just said it's not hilarious, but it kind of reminded me of when you showed me like your videos of doing stand up. Like you were. Yeah. Like an amateur starting at it. It was your first couple times doing it, you know what I'm saying? So it reminded me of that. Like it was like, Yo, it's not bad. It's not like, it's just not polished yet. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right. And that's probably what he's working out. Like, he's probably trying to pay his dues.
Yeah, exactly. You know what it sounds like? Like, because T.I. has a podcast. It sounds kind of like he's on stage doing a live episode of his podcast. He's kind of just talking to the crowd, but he's trying to like have a punchline, I guess. You know what I mean? And Little Duval, ain't that his man? Like that he do comedy, so it ain't like far fetched that he's been around comedy for a long time.
Yeah, and Atlanta I like Atlanta comedians or Georgia comedians. I enjoy their shit, so that'll be cool. But it's not the first time a dude transitioned from music, let's say, into stand up. I know Kid. Is it Kid? Kid is the fair skinned one from Kid and Play, right?
Correct.
Yeah, he did stand up. Cypher Sounds went full bore into comedy.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Yeah. It's not impossible. It's not like something that we don't see. And before we get out of here real quick, Keith, I don't know if have you heard New York Mayor Eric Adams is going to war with drill music.
I did not know. I have no idea. I don't know how. You got to explain that one to me.
So Eric Adams, his son works at Rock Nation, right? And he came out and said that his son played him some drill music for the first time. He wasn't familiar with what it was, so he showed him some videos. And he said that these videos are super violent and filled with bad behavior. He went on to say, "We pulled Trump off Twitter because of what he was spewing. Yet we are allowing music with the displaying of guns and violence. We allowed this to stay on the sites. Violent people that are using drill rapping to post who they killed and then antagonize the people who they are going to kill is what the problem is." So he feels like drill rap is causing some of the violence going on in New York City. And met actually with New York City rappers Fabio Foreign, Mano, I believe B Love might have been there if he's a Bronx rapper, and just to have a discussion, I guess, on why. Because it's well, I think the most New York City thing about it is drill rap is not from New York City. But it's like, I think maybe like Adams is like, yeah, we claiming this shit, we taking it now. But fucking because a lot of the bigger rappers that have come out from New York City have taken that style of rap.
I was about to say it's pretty. Brooklyn drill is like a thing, like it's pretty.
It's a genre. It's a genre. No, yeah, it's its own genre now.
Yeah, like yep, yeah.
But it's I feel it's weird though. This reminds me of like C. Dolores Tucker going to beef with once again representing Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, but like going to war with gangster rap in the early 90s. Like it's like what it's music, dog. It's like, and then why is it always like black music that I feel like gets this when I guess Marilyn Manson they tried to tie him to school shootings and Eminem and I guess shit like that, but we see it more in our lifetime with hip hop music and people coming at black artists, and I'm like, I don't know, what is this gonna do?
The thing I enjoy most about Mayor Adams is he's bringing back he's reminding people about a wave of like black conservatism. So even though he's a Democrat, he used to be a Republican, but he has a lot of that stuff that's reminiscent of the what came out in the 90s, like C. Dolores Tucker. He wants to bring back certain aspects of like community policing. Mm-hmm. Right, so like plain clothes units, making sure people ain't fucking up in the street and all that type of stuff. A lot of stuff that when you look at TV and you see this progressive movement, like they're trying to cut out, right? Like less policing, draw back on the policing. I'm not even talking about defund the police, but more so just, all right, let's just have just strip it down a little bit. Let's have our plainclothes people, have detectives, and not like people not a huge police presence in neighborhoods. But he's like, nah, we want police presence in neighborhoods and stuff like that. And he has a black police commissioner. Mm-hmm. So he's just reminding me of that strain of, at least in New York, that strain of black people who like, yo, we like the police. We would like the police to police the streets, rap and any kind of message that they're putting forth. We want to temper that. So that's how I see that. But this is an interesting story. I didn't hear about it.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the biggest thing to come out is like, shout out to Mano, because like I that fact that he like involved himself and kind of set up this whole meeting with Eric Adams and brought along the Fabio Foreign and like I said, other drill rappers with him. Because Mano, has been a force in this game for a long time, and he definitely, is using his influence like that. So I think that's a pretty dope thing. I hope there's not a ban on music as a DJ. That's scary to me. Like, I don't even like them taking Trump off of Twitter. I understand why they did it, why they felt they had to, but it's like, it gets weird because now you start censoring him. Who's next? You know what I mean? So it's like, when we start talking about, a style of music or something that we need to just get rid of and shut down and not let people see it, you're actually probably going to make it more popular, if anything. And cause people to find ways to go look for it. So it's I would find, like, I think what he did is good, and I think I kind of like that about Eric Adams. I know he said he worked with, like, he talks to gang members and kind of try to just stay involved in what's going on in the street or forming gang members and shit like that, and just kind of like he's working with the rappers, I guess, talking to them. So I guess the fact that he takes that grassroots hands-on approach as opposed to just having a blanket view on something that he's not fully aware of, I think is promising, and I guess we'll see what comes out of it with his reign in New York City. But that's another episode in the books, my man Keith. Where can my people find you at on social media, brother?
Instagram, emo_35.
Okay. You can find your people can find me at PLICCAPLAYBOY on Instagram, PLICCAPEEZY. Also, you can find Perfect Talk Podcast at Perfect Talk Radio on Instagram. You can find your boy DJ Playboy on Twitter at DJ Playboy, so go check that out. Also, you can find every episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast on our website, perfecttalkpodcast.com. Every episode of this podcast, my podcast that I do called The Night Shift, is a radio show, and the other radio show I do with my brother DJ show, Money Talks Radio. Also, you can find every episode of Perfect Talk Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, wherever your podcasts are found. You know what I mean? Go check that out. Leave a rating, leave a like, leave a review. Go check out our YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Go to our Instagram and hit the link tree. You can check out our YouTube, everything that we got going on. So if that's your way of rocking out with Perfect Talk Podcast, then check us out right there on YouTube as well. Keith, what have you been watching on television these days, my guy?
I just started this show called the Sex Life of College Girls. Now, my boy
Mindy
Rick told me about
produces
it.
that, right? Mindy Kaling, if I'm not mistaken.
She created it.
Okay.
Yep, she created it, and she's an executive producer. But yeah, Mindy Kaling, yeah. It's a dope show. It's a cool take on college horniness, because when we think about that, we think about it from the perspective of young guys in their late teens, but these are girls in their late teens just figuring out how they can get guys or explore their sexuality and all that type of stuff. But it's comedy though, so that's like that's not the primary, well, I guess it is the primary thing of the show, but it's a comedy, so it's not just, it's HBO, so it's not just people boning. There is some of that, but like it's actually funny seeing people just try stuff but fail at it, and I think that's the funny part of it. We've seen guys do it for a long time. To see girls do it is a fresh view on that. So Sex Life of College Girls.
Definitely check it out. Check that out. HBO Max. Go check that out. And yeah, that's another episode in the books, man. Pleasure doing an episode with you, bro. Say goodbye to the people, man.
Peace.
Peace.